Tonight with our prayer list. First, we've got Mr. Scotty Amon had back surgery again. We've had Mr. David Nixon's had knee surgery. We need to remember the family of Bobby Phillips and also the family of Brad West. Are there any others we need to include on our prayer list? No others? All right, let's go to the Lord in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you thanking you for another day that you've allowed us. Father, we're truly blessed here, and we just want to always be thankful for what we're given. Father, we know there are those tonight that need our prayers, the ones on the prayer list that have had surgeries. We just want to pray for their speedy recovery. And Father, for those that have lost loved ones, for the Phillips and West family, Father, we want to pray for them and pray for any others, Father, at this time of year that may be suffering. This may be their first Christmas without some of their other family members, Father, or friends. We just want to pray that you'll comfort them. Father, we want to thank you for this upcoming season that we have to be able to spend time with our families, and we just want to pray, Father, that we all remember how precious that time is, because we're not promised another day on this earth. Father, we just want to pray tonight that you go with us through this meeting, and as always, Father, we want to pray that we do what is best for this school system and best for the children in it. Father, most of all, we want to thank you for Jesus. In His name we offer this prayer. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll start out tonight with a presentation. Mr. Ryan Ball, if you'll come forward. Yes, sir.
All right. Always hesitate to pass these out early because people just turn to the end.
While we're passing those out, we want to be respectful of everyone's time, and I think you all know that I get long-winded, so I'm going to try to temper that. But we've got some handouts for y'all to review and look at, and Joe and I are going to be available for questions, but we wanted the engineer, Robert Lawson, to kind of speak through some of this, and again, I think it's appropriate to just recognize Mr. Smith, the board, everyone, the various committees and boards that have been involved with this project. You guys have been very supportive, and we're very anxious to kind of get to work and show you what this means to the kids in the school district. So we're anxious to kind of put all this talk to action. So I guess we'll just turn it over to Robert. You can kind of start going through where we are with things and give you an update, talk about the schools, the process, and everything. And feel free to ask questions as we're going through it. We'll get through it pretty quickly.
If you'll look on the first page there, page number 2, it gives a brief summary of the ECMs or the FIMS, Facility Improvement Measures. That's what FIMS stands for, that we're going to perform at the schools. We have LED lighting upgrades, and we will have sensors that will be we'll be putting sensors in places where it's most effective. 1B will not happen. We wanted to put sensors in all the classrooms. It was not economically feasible to put them in there because y'all done such a good job of turning your lights off, and so basically we're only going to put sensors where it's meaningful, and it gives you the most bang for the buck. The water conservation it will be performed at all facilities. We're going to be putting an energy management system in the facilities as well. The HVAC cooling tower at Carthage Elementary, which is a water source heat pump system. The cooling tower is in very poor shape, and we'll get into that a little bit. And the boiler there is the electric boiler. We'll be replacing it with a natural gas boiler, which will be much more cost effective. Replace the pumps. Water source heat pump units are old and in need of replacement as well. Additionally, we're able to replace 47 PTACs, and that will PTAC units are the small little units that are you'll see in the classrooms, and they will be. Yeah.
Go on, keep going. I'm just going
We'll be replacing those as well, so we'll be able to control those too.
So, and really, if you look at all of these, what we're working on here, from the LED lighting to help improve the learning environment to the energy management system, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, what it's going to be able to do for your buildings and around bringing in the proper outside air to the classroom and different things that we're pushing for, just to have a better learning environment within your district. The other thing too is important to note is that Carthage Elementary had significant work to be done there with their water source heat pumps that were aging, as well as their cooling tower and the boiler. We were also able to touch, every building's going to get a little something done to it, right? Whether it's lighting, whether it's water conservation, whether it's the PTAC units that are in the classrooms, some of the classrooms. So every building is going to get touched in this project, which I think is important as we kind of set a standard for what it'll look like from a lighting standpoint and from a building automation standpoint.
If you turn to the next page, we talk about lighting. And some of these lighting, the lamps will have like a 70,000 hour burn life. You think about that, that's, they may last 40 years. Depends on how many hours you operate them and how many off and on switches they have, but they're rated at 70,000 hours. But you're going to supply a 10-year warranty with these. Also the exterior lights, 50,000 hours is the rated burn life on those, and we'll be replacing the wall packs there and have a 5-year warranty with those. And the gyms will be retrofitted with LED lights so that you won't have the long strike periods in between turning them off where you have to wait 15 minutes for them to brighten back up. And so that way you can turn them off when there's no one in there, turn them back on when there's someone when you're having class. We're also going to do some water conservation measures. We're going to change.
Before you pause there, if you guys have any questions about the LED lighting at all around that, it's a big part of the project as far as aesthetics go in the classroom and different things. Any questions on that at all?
Give some examples. I thought were neat, like the gym, the wattage comparisons.
The gym, like currently it's like 458 watts between
like
the
what we've
ballast
got
and the
now
lamps.
versus what you're talking about.
Yes, like currently each fixture up there has like 458 watts. The ballast is like 58 watts and the bulb is 400 watts. Then you have the LED will be right at 199 watts. So you'll be going from that, and it'll give much better quality of light as well. And a quick strike, you just flip the switch and come on.
So we don't have that 20-minute.
No, not with LED.
Example, you guys replace these here just to show us what would be the example in here compared just offhand.
Why did you?
But we had fluorescents, a full-foot fluorescents, and
It's almost 50%.
Again,
reduction,
about
right?
50%.
And so anywhere you look, you're going to see, in applications being anywhere between 40 and 60%. But on average across the district, we're going to reduce the wattage by 50%, but increase the foot candles, which is, what we measure, how the quality of light, how much shadows we create, and what it brings in the classroom. But they'll be increased by reducing, which is pretty impressive to reduce it that much. And the technology we're using is we're using some 11-watt bulbs in areas and some 15-watt bulbs in areas, which is right where the standard should be for those, and making sure we have proper foot candles in the classrooms, and of course hallways and you name it, gymnasiums, wherever it may be. I'll be honest, unless I walk in the gyms now, the funny thing is that especially when you're going from metal halide to what we don't have in here is your paint colors may be off a little bit because it's going to change. It'll look a little different. And we've seen people actually have to repaint their gyms a little bit to match the proper color of their mascot or whatever it may be, because you're using more of a clear, a proper light in the gymnasium.
So this is a much wider, brighter light in here than what it was, for
Right.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is 2 generations old, by the way, so this is going to be different. It'll be much even better, higher quality frosted bulbs.
David, what's the life expectancy right now? I mean, I know about how many we replace a year at, for example, Mickey High School, but what would you say the average life expectancy of one of the bulbs?
In the gym?
Like you said earlier, they start from the time you put them in going.
You really don't get a year out of them, not full. It's kind of the way it's apples and oranges, because these don't get dimmer for the most part. So when I put that bulb in the gym at the high school, I go back next week, yeah, it's still burning, but it only at about probably 95% of what it was before. And every week it gets weaker and weaker and weaker till you kind of walk in one day and say, man, it's dark in here. Then we have to change all the bulbs out again. So yeah, we have to change the bulbs out in the gyms at least once a year. Just swap them out whether they're out or not. We still got to change because it gets so dim, we can't use them.
They also have color rendering issues. Like one will have a green hue, one will have like a yellow hue, another one will have a red hue. It just the light quality is not near as good as the LEDs.
And I think that when Robert, we were doing calculations today on how long these bulbs will last. I wanted to last, really. I wanted to make sure that Robert said 40 years. That way, if they're not working in 40, you can make them get him. But no,
I
we
won't be working
do
for 40
think
years.
we do think it'll be.
Functioning.
You know, we see a 10-year warranty. We're seeing 25 year is about average on that of what you expect to get out of it. But the difference here is that you guys are turning your lights off. I mean, most districts don't turn their lights off as light. So we said, you know, that you run how many hours you're running each classroom, and you divide that out by 70,000 hour rated life, it's about 42 years of your average life. Whereas most of them are around 25 or 30. So, but the most important thing is it's going to last. We have a 10-year warranty on, and it'll last past that time frame.
Water conservation. Next page, page 4. We're going to be installing, changing a lot of valves to make sure that the 1.28 toilets are actually hitting that mark. And then we're also going to be replacing some china. Where it's ADA compliant, we will put in an ADA toilet. Where it's standard, we'll put standard. That can replace. The china would be like the actual fixture itself.
In case y'all didn't know what China was, it wasn't like.
Ryan thought it was dishes.
Yeah, and then we'll be replacing some tank toilets as well, and then some urinal valves will be replaced with 1/2 gallon per flush, and then also install some flow control devices on the sinks and for the hand washing there to make sure that.
And they're pressure compensating, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so you're still gonna feel the same pressure of water coming out, but it's just less.
Well, the pressure compensating
Right.
would refer to, it's going to be 0.5 GPM, whether it have high pressure or low pressure, it's still just going to produce that 0.5 GPM.
Correct.
Or up to 1, it depends on the fixture in this type there. It says 1 to 1.5, depending on what it is. If it's a mop sink, it'll be more or something else.
Right. We're still going, you're gonna get ample,
And
water.
you will have
flowing out of there.
consistent flow, rated flow. The energy management system, currently you have a lot of Honeywell Wi-Fi, and then you have the KMC, and then some of the PTACs have manual controls. Some of the other units have manual controls, and we will be replacing the energy management system with one system, one front end, and if you look on the next page, you'll see an example there of like a floor where you'll be able to pop a screen of the county will come up. You'll be able to point at a school, and it'll come up and it'll have this floor plan. Then you can pick a classroom, and also it will tell you if there's a problem at one of the schools, like it's not meeting its set point that's there, and you'll be able to control them. If you have a snow day, rather than having to go around to all the schools and shut everything off, you'll be able to, with a few clicks of the keys, be able to turn the units or put them in setback for snow day, rather than going to all the schools. So a lot of good things will come from that. One thing that also, if we go to Carthage Elementary, this system was put in about 1977, 78, in that time frame, about the time I was graduating high school. And the system is, that gives you an idea, it's 40 years old, almost approaching 40 years old. And now the cooling tower is a little bit younger, but it's still in bad shape. You see the fan come on, you'll see the thing vibrate quite a bit. And I was trying to read the model number there, and water was coming out of that hole there in my face when I was trying to read the model number. And it's just time for it to be replaced. The pumps also are in need of replacement. We're going to put VFDs on the pumps. We're going to replace the water source heat pumps. There's 49 water source heat pumps which are above the ceiling. We're going to replace those and those connectors. And the They're also going to come with two-way valves, which is going to allow us to put VFDs on the pumps and vary the flow to what's needed rather than just pumping the whole water flow system, whether it's needed or not. So some good things will be happening at Carthage Elementary. We will upgrade that system, and hopefully you'll be able to get another 37 years out of it. And so we're, I think that's going to be that's where most of the mechanical dollars are being spent. We looked at the high school wanting to replace that boiler. It's not, while the boiler is even older than this system, it's not as critical. It's a natural draft boiler. There's no moving parts on it. And so it's chugging along. You will want to replace that, though, in the near future. That serves the gym and the ag area and a few other areas there. But we were not able to work that into this energy project. The PTAC units, we sharpened our pencils and we were able to get that to cash flow into the project as well. And we wanted to make sure that we could get these in here because you would have a situation where you'd have one new one and one old one that you couldn't put controls on because it was old unit. So you'd have a thermostat on the wall, but there'd only be control on the one unit. So it would just be, if you go back and replace it now, you don't have controls on it. So we just felt that it was a good, this was a right thing to do. Even though PTACs are easy to change out and everything, it just needed to be done with this energy project. One thing I want to talk to you about is outside air. Classrooms need outside air to be helped to maintain a good learning environment. And the outside air units are AON units, and they had a very difficult control system on it. So those units either had to run 24/7 or not run at all, unless you went around literally throwing breakers, and they were problematic with the way they were controlled. Now, when we do this project, I think it's important that we get these units working again so that we can have outside air in these classrooms. Unfortunately, that comes with an increase. We'll be backing up. While we're saving a lot of money here, we'll actually have to back up a little bit to make up for this outside air, because once we start these units up, as you can imagine, they're going to take energy because we're going to have to condition that outside air that's coming in to the classrooms. But the benefits of outside air in the classroom, it's really critical that this happens. This is the way the buildings are designed to operate. In 2001, y'all spent some money to make sure that those units were in place, and it's important for the learning environment that they operate. And when we put these new controls on them, they'll be able to operate like they're supposed to. You'll be able to shut them down when no one's there, and no students are in the classrooms, and be able to turn them on in the morning when they come in. So, like I said, in the past, you had no way to control them, and it was a real problem. So we're very proud that we were able to fix these and take care of that issue.
Well, I meant to stop Robert on each one of those. He went through and asked if you had questions, because we needed to go through them fairly quick. But any, especially on the outside air, on the HVAC improvements that we're looking at, any questions that y'all have for us?
Any questions? Thank you, fellas.
Oh, you're welcome.
I want to thank David and his staff we pestered the stew out of them. We were over here a lot, and we were just, they were always great to respond to giving us accessibility to the schools, which makes for a better project. More time we spend there, better project we can do.
Thank you. Let's move on to our consent items. Do we have a motion on our consent items?
Motion to approve consent items A through G.
Ms. Moore, do we have a second? Mr. Apple, any discussion? If not, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have our superintendent actions. Hope everyone's had a chance to look at those. Now we will move on to new business A. This is the request to approve a performance contract between Johnson Controls and Smith County Board of Education. Do we have a motion on new business A?
I'll make a motion on the business A.
Mr. Manning, do we have a second? Ms. Gattenby. Any more discussion?
Chairman, we'll need to, there's some slight adjustments to that second contract they've got that we've been in discussions with today. And the board would to empower Mr. Smith to execute that agreement. I think we can close out now, assuming that's the board's desire. There are a couple of things we need to adjust on that second contract.
Okay. That won't be a, we won't have to amend the motion, excuse me. We do have a motion on the board, there's no more discussion. We'll roll call, Mr. Manning?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes. Motion passes, and everyone's in agreement. We'll give Mr. Smith permission to whatever adjustments that Mr. Winkler, Mr. Beller see fit. We'll let him make those adjustments and get with Johnson Controls. All right, we'll move on to new business B. This is new policy 4.211 work-based learning program. We have a motion on new business B. This is also the first of two readings.
Make a motion on new business B.
Ms. Gattenbein, do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Moore, any discussion? If not, we'll vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. New business C. It's a policy amendment 4.502, parent and family engagement. This is also the first of two readings. Do we have a motion on new business C?
I'll make a motion on the business A.
Mr. Manning, do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Apple, any discussion? If not, we'll vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. New business D. This is approval of membership with Buy Board from the TSBA. Do we have a motion on new business D?
Make a motion to establish the membership.
Mr. Apple, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Manning, any discussion?
This is what we talked about at the all-day
Yes.
thing,
Yes.
right? Yeah,
Yes.
that, I think that's a great thing.
Yes. There's no discussion. This could involve money, so we'll roll call. Mr. Manning?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes. Motion passes. New business E. This is a donation of the school bus for use of mobile science lab, aka the STEAM machine. Do we have a motion on new business E?
I'll make a motion on new business E.
Ms. Gattenbein, do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Moore, any discussion? There's no discussion. We'll vote. Roll call, Mr. Manning?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes. Motion passes. New business F. This is a request the use of the school bus for the mobile science lab, the STEAM machine. We have a motion on new business F.
So moved.
Ms. Moore, do we have a second? Mr. Taylor, any discussion? There's no discussion. We'll roll call, Mr. Manning?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes. Motion passes. New business G. This is a request for CNA and anatomy physiology. I was about to mispronounce. Sorry about that. Course is to be weighted as 5-point class values beginning 2018-19 school year. Do we have a motion on new business G?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Apple, do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Gattenbein. Any discussion? Not, we'll vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. New business H. This is a bid approval for diesel fuel. We have a motion on new business H.
Make a motion, we do
Mr. Manning, do we have a second?
so.
Mr. Apple, any discussion? If not, we'll roll call. Mr. Manning?
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion passes. New business I. This is facility locations. We had the workstation last night over. Do we have a motion on new business I?
I'll make a motion, we business I. This is to re-up the,
Yeah, we might want to be specific.
yeah,
in your
this is to
motion.
redo the
There will,
option.
yes, the option presently existing will expire tomorrow. There's been a proposal from the owners to extend it for an additional 90 days at a cost of $5,000, which will come off the purchase price.
That's what I thought. That's it.
And your motion is
To extend the contract for 90 days.
Mr. Manning. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Apple. Any discussion? If not, we'll roll call. Mr. Manning?
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion passes. All right. Discussion A. This is the school audit 2016-17. Mr. Smith or Ms. Norman? I'm sorry. Come forward, Ms. Norman.
School audit, sorry. Yes. Did each of you get the packet in your the note with the book in your, yes, book in your packet? So 9 schools were audited. Every school had an individual audit. And if you want to look on page 40, that's where the actual findings are. We had 2 schools with no findings. The middle school had no individual findings, yay for them, and Gordonsville Elementary School had no individual findings. And I'm not going to go through every single school. If you have any questions, I'll welcome the questions and try to answer, but I'm working with the schools, the principals and the secretaries, trying to take care of what's wrong so we can get it fixed this year. And our auditor was really picky with the fundraising forms this year, so that's what she got us a lot on, and we're working on that. So all schools did get a note that we need to work with lack of segregation of duties, and we're working with that also. So unless I can be more specific if you guys want me to go into each school. But overall, things are okay, and we're just working on the little things that need to be worked on.
The segregation of duties, though, that's more related to staff, number of staff. And
Yeah, and
It's tough at a
it's
small
hard, right, that's
school.
my point.
It is, and we're working on giving more hours to the bookkeepers, and as long as the principals or someone else in the office is signing off on some of the duties, I'm working with Tamara right now to see if we can try to get that removed. She's not for sure, but we're talking about it to see what we can do. So one person shouldn't be receiving and going to the bank and checking the bank statement and doing all, everything themselves. So be a little bit more checks and balances I'm going to be asking for in the future about other people, maybe even me going out and doing the bank reconciliation each month if that's what it takes. So it's a work in progress though.
Any questions?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to discussion B. This is the 5-year strategic plan that we had the work session over. Mr. Smith, do you want to discuss
Our 5 year.
our 5-year plan?
That's when we met and decided to come up. We have worked on several things. We're working on putting the lunch together. These are things you decided, started out with her saying, with their opportunities for every child. But we are really working hard at getting the community involved in doing the floor plan, basically what we worked on today, and we think it's gonna be a good thing. I think it's gonna get a lot more involved in it, and that's what we want. We have, like I said, we have a lot of those things working, hopefully to start after Christmas, so.
I put this together just as a draft so that when we do meet, we have a starting point.
She wanted y'all to feel like that we knew what we were starting with.
Yes, so we can take this and use it as a working document. We can change anything in it, add anything that you want to. You can create a committee if you want to work on it, whatever y'all want to do. I just felt like we needed a document to start with.
So, I really
So
like
this is
that.
just a draft.
We felt like we need to get started on it and not let it die, and y'all can see it, actually, it's kind of grow into as it went, so.
And on each page where it talks about your goals, at the bottom of the page that says ambitious goals, those are the things that we actually charted on the yellow Post-it note paper. And we did have a sign made since our new mission statement, opportunities for every child. We had a sign made to put in here so everybody can start reciting that and putting that on everything, opportunities for every child. So hopefully you'll start seeing that on lots of documents and on our website and things of the sort.
And that was one of our classes.
That was made by one of our
That's-
classes,
that
we're
was
very
made
proud of
by one
that,
of our
or a
classes.
new piece of equipment out of CTE. It's been a popular item, hasn't it? They've had a really good time with that, learning.
One of the things that I've noticed that Wilson County Schools just released their new logo. I don't know, have you all seen that?
The what?
The Wilson County Schools logo that they've just released. It incorporated like the Cedars of Lebanon, the Wilson County Fair, and then incorporated some of their vision statement, mission statements. Really cool. And if you go to their website and see the new logo, it really looks good. But it got me to thinking about us, and it was in really good timing with what we're working on as far as the
It'd be good
strategic
to
plan.
integrate it right now. to
It
do
would be
something
really,
like that.
really good to have a new logo, but I think it would be even, you know, if we've got classes that can submit, you know, a logo to us to look at, I think that might be an idea, yeah. And even if we have to work with a more professional design group to get it, their vision, yeah, that's it right there. That's the Wilson County's. It's really cool.
It's pretty- It's got everything like on a
It's on
Ferris
a
wheel.
Ferris wheel and incorporates, it's really neat. But it would be neat to see our school system do something like that and incorporate it into some of this ideas that we're working on. But incorporate it into the students and let them take some ownership in developing that logo. Yeah, it's really neat. And it does a very good job of incorporating
Yeah.
Wilson County's
Well, I think
demographic.
just with our meeting though, that we had, that workshop that we had for goal number 2, providing the state-of-the-art learning facilities, I just challenge any of the parents to go to the schools and see the labs that are in the schools, see the new things that are out there that we are putting in the school system for the people that need a little more visual learning than your other types of learning. And I think they're going to see that we are really working towards better, friendlier classrooms. And then I think with Johnson Control, with the new lighting and everything else, I think we can upgrade our classrooms in our schools to be, you know, really some new state-of-the-art. So.
Any more discussion, questions?
What's the next steps on this? What do you want to do?
I personally like what's in there. I don't know, maybe we just review it, we could put it on next month's agenda, everybody look at it, if you have some ideas. Maybe
might
we
be
can
get
offer
some
some-
ideas at our luncheon too. that-
Right, and get some.
Yeah, that might be
have
the things on our.
Right,
So,
have some
Now, they should
ideas.
keep it limited to 2 or 3, but that could be one of our things that we got some ideas. We're gonna try to keep it real short, but have a little, you know.
And then maybe
guideline.
we can work towards the end, like you're talking about, maybe into next
Next school.
next school or next semester, maybe get some of the kids started on something, some art program, and through whatever class we want to do it through, get an idea.
So, we'll put it in next.
I think it's neat, just do like a
Yeah,
big
just so we
campaign for
we
it.
can review and
Mhm.
have any ideas, come back with any ideas. All right, we will move on. Any questions on our annual policy review?
Chairman, back to new business, I'm sorry. I'm assuming from the work session last night, the board does still want us to continue to talk to Kent Rose related to that option and the agreement we were working on. Is that a correct assumption?
Yes, yes, I'm sorry,
I didn't know if there needed to be any discussion.
yes. Everybody's in agreement with that?
Yes.
Okay, policy review, is there any need for executive session? No need for executive session? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Mr. Manning, do we have a second? Mr. Apple, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.